What's up, guys? So here I'm going to demonstrate some exercises with the Tidal Tank. So Tidal Tank comes in lots of different sizes and shapes, as you can see. You got the big old fish bowl right here, as I like to call it. You got the tube in two different sizes, and then I got the smaller tank right here. So the smallest, medium, then the large. This is definitely going to incorporate a lot of different movement patterns per tube. So whichever tank you end up using, that's going to probably dictate the exercise that you end up doing. So I'm going to demonstrate like my top two, the top two that I do with each one. So we'll start here with the small. Now this is going to be the lightest Tidal Tank that you can ever use, so you can use it for warm-ups, you can use it for any of the exercises you'll do with the other ones. You can start with this one to kind of get your body used to the, movement of the water. It's not a static form of resistance, it's going to move the whole time, so it is good to acclimate slowly to that as you start training in this way. Love doing V-ups with this thing. It's really challenging. So from this position here, I can come back, raise up overhead, one, very slow. I'm keeping that tank from moving. When I come up, naturally it's going to shake, but I'm going to use my core to stabilize it as it goes back. Oh, 4. Man, those are good. I love those. I got a couple others with these that I do implement quite a bit. I'll sometimes do a lot of ballistic training, like if I want to do something fast-paced, like if I want to do a hit day or something like that. Oftentimes I'll do single-arm cleans or single-arm snatches, something where I can just kind of real quick toss it around. That was weird. 3. As you can see, it's such an oddly shaped thing that if I want to use this for this kind of movement, it's just to get my blood moving. Oftentimes I'll incorporate it into, like I said, a warm-up. Usually after I do active or after I do static, I'll do dynamic, or I'll do some kind of a real active warm-up. And this is a good way to do that. You can also do single-arm kettlebell swings. Not something that I do a lot with these. Typically, if I do a swing, I'll do it with a typical weight. But because this does, again, it does move and this is light, it's a nice way to warm up and get ready for the rest of the exercises. So that's these. And then lastly, I know I said I was going to give you 2, but I'll give you a few. The last thing that I do occasionally do is if I do some kind of a unilateral movement with the leg, especially like a slant board, Poliquin step or something like that. If I'm doing a Poliquin step right here, I'll throw this thing right here as my form of resistance. Again, it's a stabilizing act, and I'm trying to make it not move. As well as strength training. It's both. So it's really good for that kind of stuff. So that's sort of the first tank that I will use. The second tank that I'll use is right here. So this is sort of the bilateral tank. This is where everything kind of moves. Now a lot of this will happen in the transverse plane. This is stuff that I'll do like a rotation. If I want to have one of my clients do like a walking rotation lunge, I'll have them use this. As you can see, the water's moving, and as they step, their goal is to, of course, keep the water in the tube level. That's very difficult. That's oftentimes I'll take a client who is experiencing a lot of knee movement in and out, and somebody who hasn't really strengthened it. After we hit the slant board, I'll incorporate the Tidal Tank as well. That, I do also like to do some overhead stuff. I like to do front raises. Front raises with these are really good. I'll use the 2 smaller grips on the inside. From here, I'll sort of raise like up overhead, maybe give it a press, and then come down slowly. The tank is really good at that. This tank in particular, the little pink one. Like I said, there's 2 sizes to that. You got the pink one and then you got the blue one. They're about double. So that's the way that the way that the weight works. It honestly, I don't know what each one of them weighs. It doesn't really matter because it's not static weight. It's going to move. It's constantly changing. And so for that reason, I like to just fill them up and just kind of label them by color. I keep them pink, red, clear. I'll just mark it down in my periodization as I work. Okay, on to the big guy. So here we go. This is what I like to call the fish tank. It's not called that, but the fish bowl, it's very fitting. The things I use this for the most, first and foremost, kettlebell swings, by far. Now, fair warning, if you are getting these and you do kettlebell swings with these, you're going to have to use a real wide stance because just to get this thing to clear your legs is going to be challenging. As you can see, as I do these, it's very, very possible to get a crazy workout going very quickly. That water is moving at all times. It's a great way to do that. I love doing this for HIIT. Again, I can do a really, really heavy kettlebell swing with one of my Onic kettlebells. I can go up to like 100 pounds. But for this thing, if I want to hit that explosive rep, and I would just want to get going and go for endurance, I like using the Tidal Tanks more. So that's the first thing I use the fishbowl for. Second thing I use fishbowl for is straight overhead press. Because this is the heaviest, and this is actually the lighter of the two heaviest Tidal Tanks. I've got the bigger one back there in the corner still. What I'll do is any heavy exercise, like if, for example, I wanted my client to do an overhead walk, just something to where they hopped on the treadmill and they just walked, or even a march in place. This is a perfectly good exercise, perfectly good way to align your posture, get your body warm, get moving, and just, tap into the proprioceptors receptors in your feet. That's all perfectly reasonable. I'll do this. I'll do overhead press, as I mentioned, if I want to isolate those shoulders and I want to hit something. Oftentimes what I'll have is a ballistic rep, so it'll be, and then wait till it calms down, and then come down slowly. And then come down slowly. Creating waves and containing waves. That's the verbiage I use when I work with clients with these. So yeah, I hope that gave you guys a little insight, something that you can use these for. They're really cool, and they're inexpensive, which is what I like about them. You can get all these on Amazon, and because they just come as basically tanks, they're basically like pool toys. They really aren't all that expensive, but they have a very, very special place in strength training and specifically with stabilization. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know.